Hey, what is up, everybody? I'm here to give you a read aloud series for a look at. Hold on, let me go into the beginning of the book because I always forget. A look back at the rich history of the WWE Championship, chapter 21. This chapter is called The Corporate Champ. If you want to check out chapters 1 through 20, please make sure to click on that playlist right there, and let me just get right into reading it. Love him or hate him, Mr. McMahon has to be respected for his ability to read the WWE fans. After Judgment Day failed to crown a new titleist, he sensed the audience was growing weary of the instability surrounding the WWE Championship. So to satisfy his loyal viewers, the owner and CEO made one of his famous guarantees, claiming that there would be a new champion crowned at the next pay-per-view Survivor Series. To fill the void at the top of his roster, McMahon announced a 14-man single elimination tournament similar to the one held at WrestleMania 4, 10 years prior. Earning entry into the tournament were Goldust, Ken Shamrock, Big Boss Man, The Rock, Steve Austin, Triple H, Steven Regal, X-Pac, Jeff Jarrett, Al Snow, Mankind, Undertaker, and Kane. Obviously, these are names people know pretty well. A mystery newcomer was also booked for the event. Mr. McMahon vowed to keep his identity under wraps until the start of the pay-per-view. In the weeks leading up to Survivor Series, McMahon's list of enemies increased in number. The most notable names joining Stone Cold were his own son, Shane McMahon, and The Rock. Vince McMahon fired Shane in the wake of his questionable contract negotiations with Austin. He then quickly rehired him, but only to serve as a lowly referee. Mr. McMahon's problems with The Rock were a bit more superficial. At the time, The Rock was promoting himself as the People's Champion, and because McMahon had a problem with the people, he also had a problem with their champion, which I guess makes sense. Around the same time, Mankind began to develop a deep fondness for McMahon. The formerly deranged superstar had softened considerably and now made it his chief responsibility to be there for McMahon, whether the boss needed some protection or even a good laugh. Mr. McMahon appeared annoyed by Mankind's undenying affection, but he never let the peculiar superstar know his true feelings. Instead, he kept Mankind close, using him as a pawn in his ultimate plan that would unfold at Survivor Series. When Survivor Series aired on Sunday, November 15th, 1998, Jim Ross announced that the tournament brackets had been hand-selected by Mr. McMahon. To the unsuspecting viewer, these appeared to make the Rock's route to the finals nearly impossible. On the flip side, Mankind's bracket was manipulated in such a fashion that a trip to the finals was almost guaranteed, especially after his first-round mystery opponent was revealed. Reading from a prepared statement, McMahon gushed over his newest acquisition, calling the mysterious superstar a legend in the ranks of sports entertainment. Among many other flattering descriptions, it was none other than Dwayne Gill, an unknown superstar with thousands of losses attached to his resume. At that moment, it became clear that McMahon's description of Gill dripped with sarcasm. It also appeared that the boss was making Mankind's trip to the finals even easier than it originally appeared. A mere 30 seconds later, Gill had racked up yet another loss, and Mankind was on his way to the quarterfinals without even breaking a sweat. As the tournament raged on, Mankind continued to advance with the greatest of ease. His only true competition was Stone Cold, but he quickly cleared that hurdle when referee Shane McMahon screwed Austin out of advancing. Up until that point, both Stone Cold and the fans assumed Shane could be trusted. Clearly, this was not the case. He was in his father's camp all along. On the surface, The Rock's road to the finals looked daunting, but he managed to get there thanks into a series of supposed miraculous by McMahon's men, most notably Big Boss Man, who lost to the Brahma Bull in less than 5 seconds. When it all shook out, the finals featured McMahon's hand-picked superstar Mankind against heavy fan favorite The Rock. During the match, referee Owen conceivably looked the other way while Mankind took several liberties with the rules, including the use of a chair and biting his opponent's face. "The Mankind era in WWE is about to dawn," screamed Jim Ross, as The Rock began to fade from the Mandible Claw, but the People's Champ somehow regained consciousness. After several minutes of being caught in Mankind's clutches, he finally broke free and hit his patented rock bottom uncharacteristically. The Rock then locked Mankind's legs into a sharpshooter. The hold wasn't applied for very long before McMahon, who was stationed ringside, called for the bell and awarded the match to The Rock. Something wasn't right. The moment was eerily similar to the closing moments of the previous Survivor Series when Bret Hart almost lost the WWE Championship despite never submitting to the sharpshooter. Shane McMahon climbed into the ring and raised The Rock's hand in victory, cementing the fans' fearful suspicion that their hero was in collusion with the McMahons all along. For the second Survivor Series in a row, the crowd was scorned by the Boss. Mr. McMahon, however, saw things differently. "Vince McMahon didn't screw the people tonight," he said while being showered with booze. "The people screwed the people, and you can all believe that each and every one of you are just as pathetic and gullible as Mankind." And this is the picture of that instance going down, where you can see Vince McMahon, both members of the McMahons, Vince and Shane, and The Rock with after that night. Obviously, they turned The Rock to a heel, which ended up being a great decision because The Rock really wasn't getting much of a reaction as a babyface. No one really cared for The Rock, so turning him heel was a great option because it actually created The Rock become one of the most popular superstars today. Mankind struggled to comprehend what had just happened. To him, McMahon was a close confidant. In reality, however, he was simply being used to ensure The Rock would become WWE Champion. Before Survivor Series went off the air, the younger McMahon grabbed the microphone to put the exclamation point on the evening. "The McMahon family is proud to present your new WWE Champion, the corporate champion. I give you The Rock." Mr. McMahon finally had the corporate champion he had long desired, and to ensure his man maintained a firm grasp of the gold, the Boss continually added new pieces to his faction, including Ken Shamrock, Kane, and then Commissioner Shawn Michaels. But the growing corporation did little to detour Mankind, who was determined to get revenge. Mankind appeared to accomplish his goal at rock bottom when he forced the Brahma Bull to pass out due to the Mandible Claw. But before the challenger could be awarded the title, Mr. McMahon declared that The Rock would retain the gold, stating that the champion never actually tapped out. The shady decision was heart-wrenching for Mankind, who had fought the fight of his life only to walk away with nothing. Following the soul-crushing events at rock bottom, it became clear to Mankind that he would need more than just a great in-ring performance to wrest the title away from The Rock. So he enlisted D-Generation X to be at his side for the Raw rematch. The normally rebellious faction did what they could to ensure justice, but not even DX could stop McMahon's men from intruding in the match. The corporation's interference didn't go unnoticed by Austin, who was watching from the back. Determined to spoil the night for his longtime rival, Mr. McMahon, Stone Cold charged the ring and clobbered The Rock with a steel chair. He then dragged Mankind over The Rock's fallen body, and the ref counted 3. Mankind had done the unthinkable. He had captured the WWE Championship and brought down Mr. McMahon's powerful corporation. A belt with some help from DX and Austin, the Cranes and comical superstar, dedicated the win to his two little people at home, then celebrated with a few victory laps around the ring. Mankind's championship reign came at a very profitable time in the Monday Night Wars. By this time, WWE had officially regained the momentum in the Nitro Ratings battle. Feeling the heat, WCW had scheduled a mega main event match between Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash to go up against the Mankind Walk match. WCW was convinced they had the star power to win the night's ratings, but just to be sure, Eric Bischoff ordered Nitro commentator Tony Schiavone to reveal the results of the pre-recorded Mankind Walk match before it even aired. The decision proved to be a cardinal mistake. Realizing history was being made on Raw, millions of viewers abandoned the live Nitro to watch the lovable Mankind win the gold. WCW never recovered. They spent the next 2 years playing second fiddle to WWE before finally waving the white flag in March 2001, which will probably get talked about again later on in this book. I was going to actually talk about that, but yeah, that's what happened. Because everybody wanted to see Mankind win the WWE Championship. So they all flipped over. And ironically enough, the same night that the Mankind Walk match came around was the same night that they did the Figure Poke of Doom with Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash. So can you imagine how pissed off people would have been if they had seen that and they didn't see Mankind win the WWE Championship? So yeah, it ended up being disastrous for WCW that night. The Walk's rematch came in the form of an I Quit match at the 1999 Royal Rumble. On paper, the contest heavily favored Mankind, who, over the course of his career, had woodenly battered through barbed wire, thumbtacks, beds of nails, and countless other life-threatening weapons without ever once uttering the words "I quit." Headed into the event, the Walk displayed an underlying determination to change history. He threatened Mankind with a couple of series of rock bottoms and people's elbows inside, though he knew he would need so much more than a side slam and a silly elbow drop to stop Mankind. So he devised a plan that combined never before seen brutally with a little treachery. More than a decade later, the encounter is still regarded as the most vicious WWE Championship match of all time. The first half of the contest saw the Rock whack Mankind with whatever wasn't nailed down, including ladders and the steel wind steps. The action eventually escalated to the top of the Royal Rumble entry, where the Rock did the unthinkable and tossed his opponent down onto a set of live electrical circuits. Sparks of electricity shot from the unit, causing Shane McMahon to run from the back and beg the Rock to stop. But the resolute challenger ignored his allies' request and dragged Mankind into the ring, where he handcuffed his hands behind his back. With Mankind unable to defend himself, the Rock proceeded to crush the champ's skull with an unprotected number of chair shots from a steel chair. The 15,000 fans in Arrow Pond cringed with each passing blow. Many fans screamed for the match to be stopped, while others left altogether, including Mankind's wife and two sobbing children who had front row seats for the carnage. And this is a picture of that situation going down, with Mankind repeatedly striking the Rock. With the Rock repeatedly striking Mankind with chairs. The protests failed to stop the Rock, who kept punishing Mankind with shot after shot. After a while, the champ started to slowly make his way up the aisle toward the back. It's uncertain if he was disoriented or simply trying to dodge the Rock's inexcusable attack. Either way, it didn't matter. The Rock was right behind him from the whole way, striking the champ with cold steel. Finally, the challenger took a few steps back. Some thought he might finally be relenting. In reality, he was getting a running start for his final swing home one swing. Whack! The Rock connected yet again. The challenger then grabbed the microphone and placed it in front of the champ's prone body. "I quit! I quit! I quit!" shouted Mankind. The Rock had done the impossible. He had finally forced the deranged Mankind to scream the fateful phrase that nobody ever thought he would say. Or did he? It was later learned that Mankind never actually said "I quit" that night. Instead, The Rock had silently piped in a recorded form and recorded from an earlier interview where Mankind said the words. By the time anybody realized what had happened, it was too late. The Rock had already been awarded his second WWE Championship. The way I see it, there's going to be an awful lot of bored people during halftime of the big game, said Mankind to The Rock. One day after losing the WWE Championship, the prophetic words were not just a dig at Big Daddy Voodoo, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, Gloria Estefan, and Steve Wonder, who was scheduled to perform during the halftime show of Super Bowl. I don't know the number because of my Roman numerals. I'm just gonna guess 33, because it's three X's, which means 30 and then 3. So I'm just gonna say Super Bowl 33, but you guys can correct me down below. They were also the makings of a truly unique challenge, an attempt to give football fans something worth watching. Mankind suggested to The Rock that they square off on a special edition of WWE Sunday Night Heat that would air during halftime of the big game. The new champ accepted, setting the stage for the latest chapter in the Mankind Rock saga. Unlike their prior battles, which were littered with passionate fans, not a single person witnessed The Rock defend against Mankind live. Instead, the championship rematch took place in WWE's first ever empty arena match. Never before had the WWE title been on the line in such an unorthodox fashion. But while the atmosphere was certainly unique, the brutality of the contest managed to mimic their past matches. Realizing they had the entire arena to themselves, The Rock and Mankind only battled inside the ring during the match's earliest moments. The action almost immediately spilled out into the empty seats, where the champ buried his challenger under a mound of steel folding chairs. From there, the dueling superstars covered nearly every inch of the arena, including the upper deck kitchen and corporate offices. They even took the fight outside into the loading dock area. The fresh air effectively revitalized Mankind, who was stuck on the defense for the majority of the match. Once outside, he applied his paralyzing mandible claw to the champ. The hold rendered The Rock unconscious long enough for Mankind to drape a pallet of 6 beer cans across his opponent's chest using a forklift. Unable to break free from the crushing weight of 6 pegs, The Rock had no choice but to lie there helplessly while Mankind scored the pinfall. A mere 7 days after losing the title at the Royal Rumble, Mankind was once again on the top of the wrestling world. And this is a picture of that situation going down. The epic Mankind-Rock rivalry continued through mid-February, when the two rivals competed in a ladder match on Raw, despite having only hours of WWE experience. Big Show, known then as Paul White, played a major role in the outcome of the contest. The giant newcomer had just come over from rival WCW, where he had enjoyed 2 reigns as their champion. That past success, however, was all washed away the moment he set foot into a WWE locker room. And although he stands an unbelievable 7 feet tall, Big Show admits to feeling a bit nervous that first time. I was a young kid at the time, a new star, so to speak, It was very intimidating. I couldn't believe how intense these guys were. It was completely different from where I was. In WCW, if you had a hangnail, you took 2 weeks off. In WWE, Undertaker would work with 103 fever and disintegrate for crying out loud, and he still tear the house down. It was unlike anything else I had ever experienced. After seeing Mankind slip Mr. Sacco into the mouth of the Rock during the ladder match, Big Show swallowed his nerves and purposefully walked to the ring, where he grabbed the champ by the throat and chokeslammed him through the mat. The assist allowed Show's corporation cohort, the Rock, to scale the ladder and capture the gold. Oh God. The win not only gave the Brahma Bull his third WWE Championship, it also marked the conclusion of one of the most vicious rivalries ever. The weeks that followed, Mankind shifted his focus toward exacting revenge from Big Show, while The Rock prepared for WrestleMania 15 and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that's actually the name of the next chapter, which I will read in the next video. But that's it for this chapter. Overall, great chapter. Nice to hear about the rivalry between The Rock and Mankind, and The Rock becoming champion. Not a whole lot to recap because I pretty much said it. It pretty much said everything right then and there. WWF was still really hot at the time, and it just continued. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure to subscribe to my See Ya Brothers I Know What the Talking Data YouTube channels, and make sure to subscribe to this channel for more content. That's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.